Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have something really exciting to talk about. We'll be diving into the fascinating world of the brain with a book called Brain Rules by Dr. John Medina. If you're interested in understanding how your brain works and how you can optimize your daily life, then this book is a must-read. So, let's get started. Brain Rules is a captivating book that delves into the intricacies of our brain and reveals some fascinating insights. Dr. John Medina, a molecular biologist and research consultant, breaks down complex neurological concepts into practical and understandable rules that we can apply to our lives. Rule 1: Exercise boosts brain power. Dr. Medina explains that engaging in regular physical activity has numerous benefits for our brain. Let's explore some of the key points discussed in this rule. Increased blood flow to the brain. When we exercise, our heart rate increases, pumping more blood throughout our body, including our brain. This increased blood flow delivers essential oxygen and nutrients to our brain cells, promoting their optimal functioning. It's like giving our brain a refreshing boost. Growth of new neurons. Did you know that exercise can stimulate the growth of new neurons in our brain? Dr. Medina reveals that physical activity promotes the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that plays a crucial role in the growth and survival of neurons. So, by getting our bodies moving, we can actually enhance the structural integrity and plasticity of our brain. Enhanced memory and learning. Exercise has been shown to have a positive impact on our memory and learning abilities. Research suggests that aerobic exercise, such as running or cycling, can improve our hippocampus function, which is a key brain region responsible for memory formation and consolidation. So, if you're preparing for an important exam or trying to learn something new, incorporating exercise into your routine may give your brain a significant boost. Reduced stress and anxiety. We all know that exercise is a great stress reliever, but did you know it can directly benefit your brain? Dr. Medina explains that physical activity helps to reduce the levels of stress hormones, such as cortisol, in our body. By reducing stress, exercise not only improves our mood but also protects our brain from the harmful effects of chronic stress, which can impair cognitive function. Improved focus and attention. Exercise has a remarkable impact on our ability to focus and pay attention. Engaging in physical activity increases the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine, which are involved in regulating attention and focus. So, the next time you find yourself feeling distracted or mentally fatigued, try going for a brisk walk or doing a quick workout to recharge your brain. These are just a few of the incredible ways in which exercise boosts brain power, as outlined in Brain Rules. By incorporating regular physical activity into our lives, we can optimize our cognitive abilities and promote a healthier brain. Now it's time for some action. I encourage you to take a moment and think about how you can add more exercise into your daily routine. It doesn't have to be intense or time-consuming. Simply finding activities you enjoy, like walking, dancing, or even gardening, can make a significant difference in your brain health. Rule 2: Sleep well, think well. Dr. Medina emphasizes the critical role that sleep plays in our brain function and overall well-being. Let's uncover some key insights from this rule. Memory consolidation. Have you ever wondered why a good night's sleep helps us remember things better? Dr. Medina explains that during sleep, our brain processes and consolidates the information we've acquired throughout the day. It strengthens and organizes memories, making them more accessible and retrievable. So, by prioritizing quality sleep, we can enhance our ability to learn and remember. Creativity and problem solving. A well-rested brain is a more creative and effective problem solver. When we sleep, our brain continues to work behind the scenes, making connections and integrating information. Dr. Medina reveals that sleep fosters insightful thinking and helps us approach challenges with fresh perspectives. So, if you find yourself stuck on a problem, try getting some quality shut-eye and see how your brain tackles it with renewed vigor. Emotional regulation. Lack of sleep can significantly impact our emotional well-being. Dr. Medina discusses how sleep deprivation affects the amygdala, a part of our brain responsible for emotional processing. When we're sleep-deprived, the amygdala becomes more reactive, leading to heightened emotional responses and decreased emotional regulation. Prioritizing sufficient sleep can help us maintain a stable and balanced emotional state. Attention and focus. Ever experienced difficulty concentrating after a night of poor sleep? Dr. Medina explains that sleep deprivation impairs our attention and focus, making it harder to stay on task and absorb information. Getting enough sleep allows our brain to recharge and sustain optimal cognitive performance throughout the day. So, if you want to stay sharp and focused, a good night's sleep is non-negotiable. Brain health and repair. Sleep is vital for the overall health and repair of our brain. During sleep, the glymphatic system, a waste clearance system in the brain, becomes more active, clearing out toxins and metabolic byproducts. Additionally, sleep promotes the production of growth factors that support the maintenance and repair of brain cells. By prioritizing sleep, we can safeguard our brain's long-term health. These are just a few of the compelling reasons why quality sleep is crucial for optimal brain function, as highlighted in Brain Rules. It's clear that sleep and our cognitive abilities go hand in hand. Now, it's time to prioritize your sleep. Reflect on your current sleep habits and consider how you can create a sleep routine that allows you to get sufficient, restful sleep each night. Set a consistent bedtime, create a relaxing sleep environment, and establish pre-sleep rituals that signal to your brain it's time to wind down. Rule 3. Stress damages the brain. Dr. Medina sheds light on the detrimental effects of chronic stress on our brain and provides insights into how we can protect our cognitive well-being. Let's dive into the details. The stress response. When we encounter a stressful situation, our body triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This physiological stress response is designed to help us cope with immediate threats. However, Dr. Medina explains that chronic stress keeps our stress response system constantly activated, flooding our brain with excessive levels of stress hormones. Impact on neural communication. Prolonged exposure to stress hormones can disrupt the delicate balance of neurotransmitters in our brain. Dr. Medina reveals that chronic stress can impair the communication between neurons, particularly in regions responsible for learning, memory, and emotional regulation. This can lead to difficulties in concentration, memory problems, and emotional instability. Hippocampal damage. The hippocampus, a key brain region involved in memory formation and emotional regulation, is particularly vulnerable to the negative effects of chronic stress. Dr. Medina highlights studies indicating that ongoing stress can shrink the size of the hippocampus and hinder its functioning. This can impact our ability to learn new information and regulate our emotions effectively. Cognitive decline. Chronic stress has been linked to an increased risk of cognitive decline and age-related neurodegenerative diseases. Dr. Medina explains that the long-term impact of stress on the brain can contribute to the development of conditions such as Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. By managing stress, we can potentially reduce our risk of cognitive decline. Mental health consequences. The connection between chronic stress and mental health issues is well established. Dr. Medina highlights how prolonged stress can contribute to the development or exacerbation of anxiety disorders, depression, and other mental health conditions. Taking steps to manage stress is not only important for our brain health but also for our overall well-being. It's clear that chronic stress can have detrimental effects on our brain health, as outlined in Brain Rules. Fortunately, there are strategies we can implement to mitigate these effects and protect our cognitive well-being. It's time to prioritize stress management. Take a moment to assess your current stress levels and identify strategies that can help you better cope with stress. This may include engaging in relaxation techniques like meditation or deep breathing exercises, seeking social support, maintaining a healthy work-life balance, and incorporating self-care activities into your routine. Rule 4. Vision trumps all other senses. Dr. Medina uncovers the remarkable power of visual stimuli and its profound impact on our brain and perception. Let's delve into the details of this intriguing rule. Visual dominance. Our brain is wired to prioritize visual information above all other sensory inputs. Dr. Medina explains that nearly half of our brain is dedicated to processing visual stimuli. This visual dominance reflects the importance of vision in our daily lives and how it shapes our perception of the world. Information processing efficiency. When it comes to processing information, our brain is exceptionally efficient at handling visual input. Dr. Medina reveals that we can identify images, patterns, and colors in a split second, much faster than we can process textual or auditory information. This quick and efficient processing of visual stimuli influences our learning, memory, and decision-making processes. Visual memory. Visual information has a remarkable impact on our memory. Dr. Medina highlights studies indicating that our brain has a strong propensity to remember images and visual details. We are more likely to retain and recall information presented in a visual format compared to other sensory modalities. This is why visual aids, such as diagrams, charts, and illustrations, are highly effective for learning and communication. Enhanced attention and engagement. Visual stimuli have a captivating effect on our attention and engagement. Dr. Medina explains that our brain is naturally drawn to visually appealing and novel stimuli. Whether it's a stunning image or an intriguing video, visuals have the power to grab our attention and keep us engaged for longer periods. This is why visual content is so prevalent in advertising, education, and entertainment industries. Communication and learning. Visuals play a crucial role in effective communication and learning. Dr. Medina emphasizes that incorporating visuals into presentations, lectures, and educational materials can significantly enhance understanding and retention. Visuals provide a visual context, aid comprehension, and facilitate the transfer of complex information into meaningful concepts. It's fascinating to realize the influential role that vision plays in our brain and cognition, as highlighted in Brain Rules. Our brain's inclination towards visual stimuli is a powerful aspect of our perception and understanding of the world. So, let's make the most of visual communication. Consider how you can leverage visuals in your daily life, whether it's by creating visual study aids, using visual techniques for effective presentations, or exploring visual arts and photography. Embrace the power of visuals to enhance your communication and learning experiences. Rule 5. We don't pay attention to boring things. Dr. Medina highlights the essential role of attention in our brain's processing of information and how our attention is influenced by the level of engagement and interest in the stimuli. Let's delve into the details of this intriguing rule. Attention and engagement. Our brain has limited attentional resources, and it allocates them based on the perceived value and relevance of the stimuli. Dr. Medina explains that attention is naturally drawn to stimuli that are novel, engaging, or emotionally stimulating. This means that when something fails to capture our interest or lacks meaningful relevance, our attention tends to wander. Importance of emotional engagement. Emotions play a significant role in capturing and sustaining our attention. Dr. Medina reveals that emotionally charged stimuli activate brain regions associated with attention and memory more effectively. This explains why we tend to remember experiences that evoke strong emotions, whether positive or negative. Emotionally engaging content is more likely to hold our attention and leave a lasting impact. The power of storytelling. Stories have a unique ability to captivate our attention and engage our brains. Dr. Medina emphasizes that storytelling activates multiple brain regions involved in attention, language processing, and emotional response. When information is presented in a narrative form, our brains become more engaged, making it easier to understand and retain the information. Importance of relevance and meaning. Our brain is wired to seek out information that is relevant and meaningful to us. Dr. Medina explains that when we encounter stimuli that align with our personal interests, goals, or values, our attention is naturally directed towards them. On the other hand, if something lacks personal relevance or seems disconnected from our lives, it becomes challenging to sustain attention and engagement. Cognitive load and attention. Attention is also influenced by the cognitive load we experience. Dr. Medina points out that when presented with complex or overwhelming information, our brain struggles to allocate attention effectively. Simplifying information, breaking it down into manageable chunks, and using visual aids can help reduce cognitive load and enhance attention and comprehension. It's fascinating to understand how our brain's attentional processes are influenced by the level of engagement and interest, as outlined in Brain Rules. Recognizing the importance of capturing attention can help us create more engaging and impactful experiences. So, let's make our experiences more attention-worthy. Whether it's creating compelling content, designing engaging presentations, or fostering meaningful interactions, strive to capture and sustain attention by incorporating elements that are emotionally engaging, relevant, and meaningful. Rule 6. Repeat to remember. Dr. Medina delves into the science of memory and highlights the importance of repetition in enhancing our ability to remember information. Let's delve into the details of this intriguing rule. The power of repetition. Repetition plays a crucial role in memory formation and retention. Dr. Medina explains that each time we encounter information, the neural connections associated with that information are strengthened. Through repetition, we reinforce those connections, making it easier for our brain to retrieve the information when needed. Spaced repetition. Repetition is most effective when spaced out over time. Dr. Medina introduces the concept of spaced repetition, which involves reviewing information at intervals. Research shows that spacing out repetitions allows for better long-term retention compared to cramming or massed repetition. So, if you want to remember something for the long haul, space out your practice and review sessions. Active engagement. Simply repeating information passively may not yield optimal results. Dr. Medina emphasizes the importance of active engagement during repetitions. By actively engaging with the material, such as summarizing, explaining, or teaching it to someone else, we reinforce the neural connections associated with that information. Active engagement deepens our understanding and enhances memory encoding. Variations in repetition. Varying the way we repeat information can further strengthen memory. Dr. Medina suggests incorporating different contexts, formats, or methods of repetition. For example, using flashcards, practicing through writing, or discussing the information with others. By exposing our brain to variations in repetition, we reinforce multiple pathways to access and retrieve the information. Retrieval practice. The act of retrieving information from memory is a powerful form of repetition itself. Dr. Medina highlights the benefits of retrieval practice, where we actively recall information without relying on external cues or prompts. This process strengthens memory retrieval pathways and enhances our ability to access information when needed. It's fascinating to realize the impact of repetition on memory formation and retention, as outlined in Brain Rules. By understanding the principles of effective repetition, we can optimize our learning and memory processes. So, let's make repetition count. Whether you're studying for exams, learning a new skill, or trying to remember important information, incorporate spaced repetition, active engagement, and variations in repetition. By doing so, you can enhance your memory retention and recall. That wraps up our exploration of Rule 6 from Brain Rules, where we learned about the power of repetition in remembering. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more captivating insights. Next video we'll talk about the rest of the Brain Rule book rule.